Hey, glad you made my live call this Friday night. It's going to be Q&A night. And I gave it a theme, how much is too much? And we're going to talk about that. And for those of you that do not know me, I've been involved in network marketing over 40 years. I share a lot of what I've learned in my journey on these live calls. I started in this business totally broke. Sold a junk truck to get started. The last 28 years I've been full-time. So I'm going to acknowledge some great people joining tonight. Q&A night. And doing it live from my gym here. And hey, Jennifer, how are you? Nice to see you, Jennifer. Miss you very much. Hope you're doing well. And Michael Smith in Texas, George in New York City. And then Markian, nice to see you. Karen, how are you doing? Good to see you. Carlos Santana, how are you, my friend? And BB, nice to see you, BB, in San Antonio, Texas. I hope you're doing well. Carlos says, yeah, Carlos Santana in the house with his guitar. And Markian says, Colorado. Yeah, you can say where you're from. Share that if you would like. And we also have, let me see, who else we got joining us? I'm trying to get to my questions here. There we go. And if you have a question, feel free to post it, and I'll do my best to give you my experience on it. Hey, Gary in Manila, Philippines. Nice to see you, Gary. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're not quarantined too much where you are. Hope you're able to get out and do some fun things. In cities, it's different. You know, out here in the country, it's like no big deal, right? Hello, Linnea. Nice to see you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into this now, and then if you have a question, you can post it, and I'll also bring it up again for those that join us while we're doing this. So here's the thing. I'm going to start with Jody Collins' question. Jody asked the question. She's from Alabama. She asked the question, how do you find the right balance between being passionate about your company and inspiring that passion in others and over talking? Now, you notice that she said, and over talking. I thought that was interesting, because that usually goes hand in hand with trying to inspire that in others, right? You know, it's like, you know, it's the enthusiasm that you have, but enthusiasm takes, to instill belief, I guess is what I was looking for. To instill belief, that takes time. Let me just illustrate it. this way, okay? I'm right here at the sink, right? So let me see if I can get this on there on the camera. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so get this out of the way. There we go. All right, so here's what I want you to look at it this way, okay? So view this as your prospect, okay? View this as your message. View this as your enthusiasm that you have for your product and what you do, okay? So you have control right here, don't you? You can control how much of this you're going to use. So for example, you could just let it rip, or you could just slow it down just a little. Now, why is that important? Well, here's the thing that we have to understand, going back to this glass right here. This is people's lives. See that area there? They're full of it. In other words, their lives are complicated. Their lives are full just of so many different things that go on every day that dominates their time, their intention, and things like that. You have to understand your message has only got this space. You're not going to get all of this. Now, we think we're going to get all of this. You're not going to get all this. Why? Because this is already full. Most of this is already full. So you only have a little space there to occupy. But what do? We do this. And I just love my product. Oh, my product has helped so many people. I mean, all the people I shared it to were so unhealthy. I mean, but ever since now they've been using my product, they feel so great, they feel so awesome, they feel so wonderful. The problem is this person can't absorb anything you're saying. They just can't absorb it because they don't have the space. So, going back to Jody's question, how do we do that? So what we're going to have to do is slow down. And that is, instead of full throttle, just start talking to them. Start talking to them about, let me see if I get that out of the way. Yeah, you can see the water a little better there. Share. I'm going to come back to myself now. What you have to do is share just a little bit. Most people, and she said talking too much, which that usually goes with it. When people are not getting the results they want in their business, it's generally because they are talking too much. And that's the reason why they're not earning income. They're talking themselves right out of income. So the best thing we can do is if you can get good at being to the point and have good content. When you talk to people about your prospect or your product rather, the best thing you can do is share a video. The reason why tools are created is to stop you from talking too much, because that's human nature. Because many fear that they're not going to, they're just afraid they're not getting their message across. And what they're doing is they're throwing everything out there just like that. They're just turning on that faucet. But again, you only got so much space because that's all they can absorb. A video is a great way to do that, to shorten it. But you can also, just handwrite your presentation or write out your presentation. And then time yourself, put yourself on the clock, and then get good at repeating it, where basically it's like just pushing a button and you go into the talk mode and you say exactly what you're supposed to say. Many people want to, if you're in the health and wellness, then many want to get scientific and talk about this study, that study. Again, that's the faucet wide open. People just can't absorb it. So if that illustration helps, I hope so. And Jess, nice to see you. Don't know where you're from, but nice to see you. Let's go to Jessica. And again, for those of you that if you have a question, go ahead and leave it in the comments and George will screenshot it and send it to me. and then I'll try to answer your question. It's fun when you don't know the question, right? Because let's talk about Jessica's. You're welcome, Jody. Jessica's question is, she actually has two. Do you believe in cold messages, for example, here on Facebook? Okay. Now, you notice, Jessica, you said cold messages. Oh, it was cold today. Today it got cold here in the mountains. I had to put a sweater on. So the thing is, here's the thing. The words we choose affects how we feel about something. So why don't we just get rid of cold and just say Facebook messages or messaging someone that you don't know. See, I remember the old days, we used to call it cold market. Cold market versus warm market. You know, your warm market was contacts you have, people that you know, right? Cold had to do with total strangers, you know. So here's the thing. Yes, in answer to your question, do I believe in messaging? Of course I do. Do I believe in messaging people I don't know? Sure. I built my whole network marketing career on strangers. I didn't do it on warm market. Now, I will tell you, warm market is invaluable. It's critical to your success. I didn't have a decent warm market. I didn't. So what I did was when I advertised, and back then, you know, I did it in different methods because back then we did it out of newspapers, magazines, things like that. Okay. So back then I would reach out, just put ads out, just get my phone to ring, set the appointments, meet with strangers. But guess what? When they joined, I tapped into their warm market. So I just wanted to say that, just to be honest about that. But yeah, I'm a big believer in talking to, or today we would also say messaging people that I don't know to see if they're open. Now, she follows that up with, when posting in Facebook groups, how long do you need to add value before you start reaching out to people about your opportunity? Well, that's a good question. Because you can be excessive, in that you're building endless rapport and never getting around to it, right? So that's something we don't want to do. So when you go into the group, I think the important thing is contribute value by posting, contribute value by supporting the posts of others that are worthy of that support, and then send them a friend request. I mean, they'll know who you are because you've been engaging with their content. And then when you do that, then engage on their page. We're not talking about endless rapport. And then finally see if they're open. It doesn't take a lot of time to do that. But you do need to invest some time into that person, or you're just a total stranger and they're going to think, oh, what does she want? So I hope that helps. Now, for those of you that, if you have a question, and there's not a dumb question, okay? So don't be afraid of that. Feel free to ask it, and then I'll do my best to answer it. So Carlos Santana from Texas asks, what makes me stronger to have better relationships? George, that sounds like a translation, but not a good one, okay? Maybe you can help me out, Carlos. But let's just go into, when you talk about better relationships, Carlos, that's what network marketing is all about, is relationships. We're in that business. We're in the people business. And that's so important, especially when you're building a downline. You want to keep a team. Look at my team. It's 22 years old. How many people do you know have a team that's 22 years old? It wouldn't be many. Wouldn't be many. When I go to GoPro Mastery in the past, I went to some of Eric's. I spoke at his last one, or the last one I went to. Most of the people there probably haven't been in their company even a year because they move around a lot. And that was true when I went to Ray's events and spoke at Ray's events. People that I met and at the Rank Makers events, that these people had not been in their companies very long. So, but I've been doing it 22 years, but I can tell you it's all about relationships. We did a lot of bonding. We got involved with people. That is, we, would actually meet. We would go on outings. I can tell you on my mountain, in my house here, I have had thousands of people here at different times, parties, groups, meetings, and they weren't all in my company either. I've had some friends here that are, top leaders in other companies, and I've had them here with their teams and just had a good time. But I can tell you that the more time that you invest into those relationships, the greater mileage you're going to get out of your team. Meaning that how long do you want to have this team? How long do you want to be in your business? How long do you want residual income? It's all about relationships. Let me see, going back to George's message here. Oh, BB, there's BB. Hey, BB in Texas. What do you do when you want to join more than one business and know in your mind that you will do a super job for each? Let me see. Okay, so, and know in your mind that what do you do when you want to join more than one business and know in your mind that you will do a super job for each? All right, so you're questioning whether you would be able to do that. Okay, BB, as far as network marketing goes, I recommend that it's that you focus on one company and work that. In other words, it's like a conduct. Some might say, well, I've seen somebody ride two horses at once. Yeah, well, that was a circus. That was a circus. A Kentucky Derby, if you're going for the big prize, no, you ride one horse and you focus on that one horse. Now, if you have a career, which I know you do, BB, you're a writer, that's different because your career doesn't compete with your network marketing business. See, the problem with people who want to do multiple network marketing companies is they'll say the products don't compete against one another. Okay. So let's say that you're in the health and wellness business, okay? And somebody else excites you about Kangen water systems. And you say, well, the Kangen or Kangen, it's a funny name for a product, really. I wouldn't call it that, but okay. But Kangen, it's a Japanese water treatment, alkalizes your water, right? With this water, you can swallow your pills with it. They don't compete because you don't sell alkalized water, okay? It doesn't compete, okay? Doesn't compete. I get that. But see, where they're missing it is this. You must understand you're in the people business. You're not so much, products are a byproduct of what you do. Products are a byproduct of what you do. Your first product is people. So it does compete. Because again, people's lives are complicated, remember? They're full. And then what we're going to do is, imagine the water going back in. We're going to do this. We're going to say, hey, you're in the health and wellness business. You can do Kangen too. Hey, look at that. And that's how their brain goes when you start talking that way. Because they're saying, I don't have time for the one I got now. Oh my gosh. Try to do another one. Try to do another one. No, 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 no. And the result is then the person's is not effective in either company, and they don't make money. So, and I've never seen anybody ever make money trying to do two at once. Now, as far as a career goes, if let's say you're a writer of books like that, then fine. That doesn't compete because it's a totally different business. But yeah, so you devote what time you can. Obviously, you're going to follow your passion. And if network marketing is secondary to what you do, because your passion is somewhere else, that's okay. That doesn't mean you can't be successful and create a secondary income, because you can. And then let's see, George. There is Monica. She asked the question. And again, for those of you that just joined us, if you have a question, just post it in your comments here, and George will screenshot it and send it to me, and then I'll do my best to answer your question. Monica asked, any advice on what's the best approach to a business owner who is doing good in his business, but you want to tap to be a part of your team? In other words, you want him to join. So he's doing good in his business. What's the best approach? Here's the thing. I would have the same approach for them, basically like you would anybody. He's in business, so that tells you a number of things about him, that he likes to make money. He wants to be successful. Those are all very great attributes for a prospect, right? So I would say don't complicate it, because we think if they're successful and they already got something good going, that we have to have like a totally, super presentation for that type of person because they're so awesome, right? Really, it's the same. It's the same as you would approach anyone. I know different people have different approaches. If it's a doctor, well, it's like, I'll get these questions like, hey, I've got a prospect who's a doctor. Do you have another doctor that can talk to my doctor? Okay. Same thing, chiropractor. Do you have a chiropractor that can talk to my chiropractor who's a prospect? Why do we have to set it up that way? And I'm not saying you did that. I'm not saying you did that, Monica. I'm saying don't fall for that we have to have special presentations for each kind of career that a person's in. We don't. We really don't. So what I would do is, and again, don't have any fear about it. You don't know how well he's doing. I mean, that's really your thoughts on that. I mean, if we look at what's happened with COVID and how it's shaken up businesses in a big way, some businesses are not coming back. A lot of people have been affected negatively by this. And some of the people that used to rock it out when it came to business, now they're in trouble. So, but again, what I would do is just pay him a compliment and let him know that you respect him. Say, hey, John, you're a very successful businessman. I've always admired what you do. I think it's really awesome. I would like to show you something. It may or may not be for you, that could create a lot of extra income and would not take a lot of time. Do you have some time to look at it? And that's it. Don't complicate it. And then just decide what tools you're going to use. And hopefully you got some good ones. And so let me see, Rocio, good to see you. And is that it? Or let me see. Yeah. Does anyone else have a question? If you do, you can ask now, and I'll do my best to answer it. yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun getting together with you on this Friday night, and I'll put out some value this weekend, and be glad to help you out, and in wherever you're at in network marketing. There, different people in different situations in network marketing. Hello, Angela. And so we're all in different situations. So the thing about it is I've pretty much been in all those situations in the last, 28 years of my full-time career. So I appreciate it. And I hope you had a good month in October. I hope you had an awesome month. It was great for me, but I hope it was for you. And let's regroup. This weekend I'll put out some value and look forward to having you on my next live call. Take care.